Welcome to the UCLA Bruins Insider Podcast. I'm your host and lead writer for UCLA Bruins on SI, Connor Moreno. And just like every day, we've got a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. The UCLA Bruins softball team dropped to the losers bracket of the Women's College World Series after losing to Texas Tech on Saturday. Sunday, they will play against Tennessee to try and keep their hopes alive and stay in the bracket. And along with softball, baseball is actually running through their regionals in the College Baseball World Series. They're in the Los Angeles regionals. They just beat Arizona State 11-5 just a day after beating Fresno State 19-4. So they're running through Los Angeles regionals. They're awaiting the winner of Arizona State and UC Irvine, who is the last team in their regional, to play in their regional finals. So baseball is awaiting that. Arizona State and UC Irvine, they play on Sunday, and then UCLA will go ahead and play against that winner a couple hours after the game. So lots of baseball action on Sunday. And yeah, the Bruins are a 15th seed. They're looking to run through their regionals so that way they can advance to super regionals. The winner of the Los Angeles regionals plays against the Austin regionals, which includes Texas, Houston Christian, Kansas State, and I'm blanking on the last one, but it looks like Texas might make it out of there. They're the only team that hasn't lost yet. So UCLA has a chance to make it to the Sweet 16 and then play a best-of-3 series against the winner of the Austin regionals. And if they win that, they go ahead and advance to Omaha, where they will play in another double elimination, so on and so forth. That's how the College Baseball World Series goes. So, yeah, Bruins baseball looking good. Bruins softball, they're trying to stay in it and keep their hopes alive. We've got some football news today. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a whole bunch of news every day surrounding college football, but this one isn't typically, the news that you're used to. Deshaun Foster and his coordinators, Tino Sunseri and Akaika Malo, are actually going to be in College Football 26. EA Sports recently announced that over 300 head coaches and offensive and defensive coordinators are going to be in the game for the very first time. This is massive news for not only the franchise, but for college football as a whole. There hasn't been any, real world coaches or offensive coordinators in the game, except for just, Madden, which, by the way, the NFL, they just have access to those coaches anyways. And we haven't seen that access for college football. I mean, we barely got real life players in College Football 25 last year. So now they're taking it a step forward and they're bringing in coaches like Deshaun Foster and the coordinators, which gives, Bruins fans much more, real world and authentic experience, which is what EA Sports is striving to do with college football. I mean, if you've seen the updates, boy, they're really going into it, and not only just bringing in the coaches and the coordinators, but they're bringing in more traditions for every single team. All 136 FBS football teams are going to be in the game, and pretty much all of their coaches, which is incredible. Obviously, Deion Sanders, coach for Colorado, and then Bill Belichick for North Carolina. They're not going to be in the game, unfortunately. Belichick has never really been that fun of a guy, and Deion's going to be Deion. But yeah, it's going to be great for Bruins fans to go in there, try and turn the program around, build a dynasty. It'll be fun. It'll be really fun, and the game is going to come out July 10th. That's when Bruins fans, you guys can play. You guys can play as Nico Amalava and Deshaun Foster, and all of the coordinators. So that's going to be very fun. Very big news for UCLA and for college football as a whole, because it seems like every single year EA Sports is doing a better job at trying to create the best experience possible. And the franchise has only been out for 2 years, so I can't wait to see what they do in the future. And that's all the football talk that we have for today. One of the bigger stories, I would say, surrounding UCLA is going to be UCLA Hall of Famer Reggie Miller just finished broadcasting the Indiana Pacers versus New York Knicks series, and he is under a bit of scrutiny for the way he called Saturday's Game 6. So if you don't know already, Indiana, they closed out New York in 6 games. Last game was on Saturday. Pacers won by 17. They advanced to the NBA Finals. And former Bruin Reggie Miller, he was on the call the entire series. And for a little bit of backstory, people online and even some broadcasters have kind of had their reservations about, a former Pacer calling this series. And because, as a journalist, you're supposed to be fair in the way that you're covering every single sport. And so, he's already had that kind of backlash, and he's been, walking on eggshells since the series started. And not only New York Knicks fans, but just fans of the NBA in general they've had their qualms about it. They don't think it's right that a Pacer legend, not even just a former Pacer, like probably the most popular name in franchise history, is calling a series that, can advance them into the NBA Finals. So anyways, fast forward to the third quarter of Game 6, and Karl Anthony Towns, New York Knicks center, drives in on Miles Turner, Indiana Pacers center. And he gets fouled, and then he falls on the floor and grabs his left knee, a knee that's been bothering him the entire series. And for a little bit of background, Karl Anthony Towns has been known to be a bit performative. In Game 5, he hurt that knee, and, he was kind of limping and, favoring it, but he finished the game and he looked just fine. So take that as you will. But Reggie Miller on the broadcast, national broadcast, said, I don't think he's hurt. I think this is just for show. And boy, did that trigger an entire fan base. Even before that happened on Twitter, you had like Ben Stiller, famous New York Knicks fan and actor, writer, producer, director, was saying, he wasn't at the game. So he was saying, I'm glad that I can mute Reggie Miller. I don't have to listen to him on TV. Bunch of fans, everyone's going to have their opinion on, especially the color commentators. But Reggie Miller in particular has been getting a lot of heat. And all of this background that we've talked about, he's a former Pacer, kind of just led up to what he said about Karl Anthony Towns. And boy, Knicks fans let him have it. Like, he hurt his knee, but Reggie Miller was saying, I think this is just for show. I think this is just for the story, which take it as you will. You can watch the replays and whatever, but it's a tough situation for the former Bruin, former Pacer great, at least. But luckily for Knicks fans and even the most neutral NBA fans that maybe just don't like listening to Reggie Miller, he's not calling any of the finals games. TNT broadcasted their final NBA game maybe ever. I don't know. The TV rights deal just came through. Obviously, Inside the NBA was bought out by ESPN. But yeah, the finals are going to be streaming exclusively on ABC, so no one has to listen to Reggie Miller anymore, or gets to, whichever one you like. And that is all the news that we had today for the UCLA Bruins Insider Podcast. Again, I'm Connor Moreno, your host for UCLA Bruins on SI. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you again tomorrow.